Hey guys and dolls, welcome back to another edition of Emerging Artist. I'm your favorite girl and your host, Chris Styles. So I'm excited to be sitting here on the stage today with an artist that I totally admire. I mean, when he hits the stage, he is doing the thing. So he's a spoken word artist, he's a musician. I mean, he does so much. But let me introduce you to Mr. Geoffrey Goldman. Welcome to the set. Welcome to the set.
Hi, I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
You are more than welcome. Thank you for accepting our invitation.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So tell me about Geoffrey Goldman, because I knew and I know that you are a spoken word artist, and I've heard you kind of, you do a little tune here and there in some of your sets and everything, but you actually identify as a vocalist. So tell me all the things that Geoffrey does.
Okay. Well, as you mentioned, young lady, I am a spoken word artist, and I also like to reference myself as a melodic expressionist, if you will, because I will intersperse parts of melody into my own original work. I'll kind of sandwich my original material in between pieces of songs, both myself and by other artists that are contextually cohesive, if you will, to my original work. So if it's a song about, if it's a poem about love, I might take a piece from an Anthony Hamilton song that kind of focuses on that, and that'll lead into my poem.
Oh, yeah.
And then when I'm done with the poem, I might follow it up with a piece of a Luther Vandross song that, once again, kind of like lends itself to the phase out of.
I got you.
Yeah.
Nice segues in and out.
That's it.
You grasp them with the vocals and you start to singing, and then you hit them with the spoken word, and then you take them back home like, yeah, you're just flowing like that.
Because they don't expect me to be able to sing the way that I do, the songs that I do.
Not
and
Luther.
Listen, I'm not saying I'm setting the world on fire, but I do practice when it comes to the presentation of these things, and I do everything I can to do these legendary artists justice, because the last thing you want to do as an artist ever is take on a song that is so above and beyond you. I don't care how you swing it. Certain things you should just stay away from unless you're that individual.
And when you mess it up that you lose your audience.
Absolutely.
Especially if you're sandwiching it in, if you're trying to, lead in to your spoken word and you mess up the vocals, they're totally tuned out. Like, what was he doing, man? Don't even hear what you say.
They say imitation is the highest form of flattery, and that's only true when you pull it off. Okay? Because if you don't, they're looking at you like, the audacity.
Like, that's not nice. Don't do that again.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So tell me, how old was Geoffrey when he decided to, you're not even here? Like, how old were you when you realized that you were able to write and flow and capture an audience? How old were you?
I was 5 years old when I started writing rhymes, and I would read them to my parents, who were impressed. And when we had people over, they would sometimes ask me to read them to the company, like, oh, look at our talented son. But I didn't really get my stage start where I started taking it seriously until around the year 2000.
Oh, yeah? So what took you so long to recognize you had a gift?
I always knew I had a gift of writing, but coincidentally, I also have somewhat of a speech problem. So the notion of being able to present my writing to the public, I was always very, very apprehensive about that. I mean, you're talking about a person that didn't like talking on the phone just because I had so much anxiety, and I just knew I wasn't going to be able to effectively communicate, and it did something to my spirit. So even considering getting on stage with a microphone where your voice is amplified, i.e. your stuttering is amplified. They could hear you up the block going, there's no way. There's no way.
I get it. I get it. So, just let's clarify then. So it's not a speech impediment, but you were diagnosed with
Tourette's syndrome. And that's something of like my everlasting symptom. You got, the symptoms are known as tics, and you have vocal tics and motor tics. Vocal of the voice, motor of the body. I always felt like my speech problem was my everlasting vocal tic, that thing that I could never really shake, because as I got older, I learned how to kind of incorporate some Jedi mind tricks to draw people's attention away from what they saw by replacing it with something that they're used to seeing. I'll get into that in just a second. But yeah, it was a result of my Tourette's. That's where my speech problem comes from. And that's why I haven't been able to shake it yet.
But you know what's so amazing? When you watch Jeff on stage, when Jeff has the microphone in his hand, there is no Tourette's. There is no speech issues. There is no studying. How do you do that? How is that?
I'm actually glad you asked this, because it gives me the opportunity to present my theory of how all this works. Okay,
the theory of relativity.
Hey,
okay,
but it's gonna be relative to a lot of people.
Okay,
when they hear this. So I'm a left-hander, right? So that means that I'm right brain dominant, just automatically. So the right side of your brain controls the creativity and stuff, like the abstract stuff, right? Okay. The left side of your brain is more science, math, conversational dialect. So if I'm already of a right brain tendency without being creative, when I'm in creative spaces doing creative things, I'm tapping into this side anyway. So it's like I double up on the right half of my brain when I'm doing what I'm doing in those spaces. So my feet don't even touch the ground. You can't tell I have a stutter. You can't tell I have Tourette's. You can't even tell I'm anything less than
amazing,
the most confident individual you've ever come across. And I think it's miraculous, and I'm thankful for it, because it really brought me into the confidence that I needed to be a not terrible human being. Because a not terrible human being.
How was that even a factor? How did you get to that point?
I was so down on myself because of the things that I couldn't do. I was so down on myself because of all the difficulties that I did have. I was so down on myself because as a child, I wasn't able to socialize very effectively because I couldn't communicate. And imagine, if you will, you're on the playground. The kids are having a conversation, and you're standing there and you want to chime in and be a part of the conversation. You want to contribute. And when it comes time for your turn, you're just standing there looking like a bullfrog, your cheeks, because you're trying to get out a syllable, much less a word or a full sentence or a complete thought. And imagine that kids being kids and being honest in their responses to things don't know what to do. So they either start laughing, or they walk away, or they start up an entirely new conversation in front of you because you killed the vibe. All right. So, and I talk about it saved me from being a less than stellar human being. I had so much anger. I had so much hurt. I had so much confusion. Like, why did this happen to me? These things that I can neither explain nor understand. It could have turned me into a not nice person as I grew into adulthood, just because I harbored so much resentment. Like, why? Why? I had so many why questions, and I had no definitive answers for any of it. And so had I not had this, had I not been able to lean on this and develop this, I wouldn't have become the confident man that you see sitting before you. We wouldn't be discussing this. And my life would not be as excellent as it has been. I owe a lot to this. I really do. It saved my life.
Wow, that's a profound statement, Jeff. That's amazing. So we had talked earlier about your first time, about where well, actually you were telling me you curate shows, right?
I do.
And you
Actually.
have one,
Yes.
and you're doing that at a place where you actually met your wife.
Yes. Yes.
So, and that was not your first time on stage. That
No.
was, okay. So what year did you meet your wife?
I met her, excuse me, in 2017.
2017.
Yeah.
Now let you know, if they met at this place where he was doing spoken word, probably she's a spoken word artist too. So yes, his beautiful wife, Virginia, is a spoken word artist.
Yes, she is.
She's a vocalist. I've had an
Yes, she
opportunity
is.
to sing with her and her
Yes.
band.
That was a good time.
Shout out to Silk.
That was a good time.
And that was during a Cassie event.
Yes.
So Virginia is an artist too. So how do two artists get along? You know, is it true that they say opposites attract, but you two have so much in common? How is that? How is the day in the life in Virginia and Jeff?
Well, there's peace. There's a lot of peace. There's a lot of love. There's a lot of understanding. There's a lot of communication. Communication is key in any relationship between anybody. There's not so many misunderstandings between us just because we see to it that we keep the main thing the main thing. And the main thing is love, honor, and respect for ourselves and each other. Artistry not required. Okay. And here lately, she's been focusing on other things that are important to her. She's in school for creative writing and copy editing as well. So that has taken just about all of her time, attention, and focus. So I am left to, at the present time, be the creative representative of our household, and he doesn't have a problem with that. And you know, I don't have a problem with that because, I mean, I just love it. So,
That's great. That's great. You mentioned something earlier about your first time hitting the stage. It was at Cafe Chin Chin.
Yes.
I mean, that's taking it. If you remember Cafe Chin Chin, and you know way back. And at that time, you were a totally different person. I guess physically, emotionally, and mentally.
Yeah, spiritually, everything in every aspect. So at the time, I was existing within what I not so affectionately like to refer to as the group home situation here in Cincinnati. It was a result of certain mental and neurological difficulties that I already mentioned. So that was my life. I was very overweight. I was not confident at all. I hated my life. I didn't have much to look forward to. And so what I would do after I heard word that there was this happening spot with a microphone and they let you on there, if you said you had something to say, I was like, I got to get down there. I got to know about that because, as I mentioned before, I've always been a writer. But at this point in my life, I felt like I was at rock bottom and I literally had nothing else to lose but my life. And I wasn't that concerned about that anyway, granted my circumstances at the time. So I'm like, yo, I'm going to do some stuff that I never thought I would or could. I'm going to get on stage and I'm going to present my material to the people and see if I don't die. See if I can really pull this off. And I went up there and I did. And the spot was always packed and the response was always great. And that was the beginning of what led up to this point right here where I'm sitting in this chair.
Tell me about the
I
thought that was a cute addition to the story.
Right. Well, there would be nights, and keep in mind, I'm in the group home, so I don't have any money. I had to scrounge up enough money to take the bus downtown, and oftentimes I only had enough for a one-way trip. Didn't have anybody to call in case I didn't have the money to get back home, so I took it upon myself to be as entrepreneurial as I could at that moment. And after I got off stage, I would go behind the bar. I would ask the bartender if they had a cup, like a little styrofoam cup or something that you would get coffee in. And I would work the room singing to couples for tips, you know, songs by the Isley Brothers and Al Green, like not their entire catalog, all right? I knew a certain few songs that I practiced, and I could make it sound not terrible. And people were impressed by the fact that I'm singing these songs and it's me. So they would put a little something in my cup. And at the very least, I would gather enough for bus fare home. And so that was interesting. I would say it was fun, but at the time it really wasn't, because it's like your back's up against the wall, man. If you don't make this money, you got to go to the drop-in center. And then you got to explain why you didn't make it home that night because they had a curfew at these group homes.
Well, all of these things, all of these circumstances, it's like you have risen above those things. And I am so grateful to call you friend.
Oh, thank you. I am super grateful to call you friend as well. Truly.
Thank you. Thank you. If you want to know more about Geoffrey, just visit his Facebook, Geoffrey.
Yes.
Goldman, Goldman. But, you know, we can't let you go without you hitting the soundstage. We have
Let's do it.
We've got to hear what Geoffrey has to offer. You want to hear it?
I'm ready. I woke up like this. Okay, let's do it.
All right, guys and dolls, thanks so much for hanging out with us for another edition of Emerging Artists. I'm your favorite girl, your host, Chris Styles. I'll see you next time. Bye.
Hey, yo, peace and good evening. This is the initial meeting and greeting to gauge whether these sensations will be fleeting or have meaning. When it comes to me and Star Child, seeing is believing. She is not of this universe, a Star Child with interplanetary appeal. Only God knows what she's doing down here. Clouds appear underneath her every step. A sweet breeze blows with every breath. The girl is a heavenly body. The constellations shine their approval for her rightful place amongst them. The sun is jealous of her smile, but he digs her style. Illumination is his way of saying, I see you, ma. The moon hates Star Child. Her gravitational pull took over the tide. That envious orb in the night sky began to cry. That job was mine, and I don't share. With a spirit as pure as the mountain air, baby doll is in perfect alignment. One glance in her direction, feet sink deep into concrete. Keep an hourglass just to gauge where the time went. Oh, how milky her way must be. Twin supernovas emit light green laser beams from a face that could launch 10,000 rocket ships. Her hair is sparkle from the tail of a comet. Her voice is the sweetest deep space sonnet. The lady gets it honest. A beautiful being birthed from the Big Bang. The epitome of femininity. Raw cosmic energy within a mortal entity. precious gem from a galaxy unknown. Be sure to speak, she will be shy. How lucky is the guy who gets to be her tour guide? Make her feel comfortable because this star child is light years from the place that she calls home. And that's how that first meeting was supposed to go. Now I know her, and I'm trying to show her how my heart starts beating a little bit faster, how she got me glowing. I can name her, never hope to tame her. This is Wildflower, and I would never try to game her. Let her cry because she's a lady. Her smile is like a little baby's, wide, shy, and innocent amidst a world that's militant, chastising and uncompromising. Surprisingly enough, despite her rough ride, the light still shines bright within her eyes. She is like water, gently bending to fill whatever vessel in which she's nestled, a delicate mortar to life's pestle. The girl gets ground down, but rarely wears a frown. Silent is the sound of her anguish. In her own mind does she languish. She may take breaks when her foundation shakes, but never ever is she aimless. In search of sameness, she worships balance. Counting karmic calories in their duality is just one of her many talents. Understanding the give and get in each moonrise and sunset, she whets her inner appetite to ignite her third eyesight. This fertile earth is worth more than any jewel found in a store. Rubies strewn within a golden necklace aren't nearly as precious. Life's progression hasn't yet met the price she fetches to bestow the blessing of answering her question. Her body is restless, her spirit is peaceful. Her merit is without equal, she is a woman of the people. The children's teacher, knowledge seeker, truth speaker, eager to be that wayward soul reacher. Her emotions are an ocean, and when those floodgates open, a saline leaker across soft cheek streaker. She is clean on any scene, no need for Maybelline. The woman is as fine as she wants to be physically. No towers of ivory does she keep herself sequestered in. A testament to her elegance is the eloquence with which she fellowships. Not often does she display the full extent of her intelligence. From the irrelevant, she is celibate. Her self-concept is in context. With neither conquest nor contest is she impressed. Success directs the blessed. She is favored amongst her neighbors because love moves her labors. Her presence is to be savored. She is serene, a supreme being of light beams. She is Wildflower, disappointed in her isolated anointment. Through her veins courses the rhythm of life's prism. In her brain, the forces of wisdom and compassionate decision lay hidden, searched for by many, found by barely any. To those worthy, she is already serving. Within her eyes lies a guide for the perplexed. She is the princess of every knight's quest. Let her cry because she tries so hard to forget she is the very best of us. Regretfully better than all the rest of us. When she'd rather just impress upon us, she doesn't want the stress of having to pester us with her sheer excellence. By comparison, We are so woefully less than what her example should set for us. But I guess it's more of a question of what could she really expect from us when so much ugly has infected us? This world we have laid has made such a mess of us. She is not of this universe, star child with interplanetary appeal. Only God knows what a beautiful soul like Wildflower could be doing down here. And at this point, it's become clear that I really dug her. I really want to kiss and hug her. I think I just might place no one above her. I think I might even love her. This is called Love Her. I love her, this much is true. Not for what she does, but because I do. I love her, that's what I do. She's my lover and my sister. I miss her when I'm not with her. I long to hug and kiss her and share a careless whisper because I love her. That is what I do. I feel like such a fool, not because I love her, because I can't seem to get enough of her. She is the God outside my flesh, the heartbeat within my chest, my joy and my pain, my ease and my strength. My happiness and stress, my very breath. Such a beautiful mess, the way that I love her. That's a word to my mother. I learned through loving her that love was not absurd. More than just a word, but something to observe, like the Sabbath. I fervently atone for any ill seeds I may have sown so that the depth of my love can be shown. All my real women know the lady's daily habits can cause havoc and soothe the savage. For her, that's easily managed. I love her. She does damage. My baby, my crazy, my you lost sucker, hurry up and pay me. My I got your back, never shade, never play me. My I just want your love, hun. There's no need to save me. I love her, and that's just how God made me. Here lately, I've been greatly appreciating her helping to take me in better directions by providing better suggestions to help answer all the different questions with which I'm wrestling. She is my blessing, the only one that I'm undressing. I love her, she never ever keeps me guessing. Handles my weapon, candles for sexing, emojis with texting, LOL smiley face. I love her, she is my ace. She can be in my face, but she knows her place. She'll fall back when I'm all jacked. I'll call back holding my hat, apology letters on stack. Ice cracks, and we be right back. I love her, she is my fight back. To that lady fair, the way the lights are hitting your sights, dear, we might spend more than just a few nights here. How you flashing them brights? It appears you trying to excite. That's all right, I'm quite aware. That smile can slice precise into my very life, you hear? I love her. It's nice to see what my future might be looking like clear. I love you. I will always care. I'm a need for you and me to always be right here. Within you, I will continue to show and prove that where I belong is right there. I love you simply because I do.